If you followed any League of Legends content in the past few days, you might already know that Season 2026 is coming with 11 new items. And out of those 11 items, today I will talk in detail about the ones made for AD carries. Starting with the Fiendhunter Bolts, these items' main purpose is to improve the ultimate power of those champions that already heavily rely on them. Design-wise, there are 3 silver bolts holstered in a leather-looking tool belt with a blue color as background. The secondary color of the belt is now pink, but at the beginning it was more saturated towards red. The bolts were also a bit darker than they are right now. There's not much lore about the item at the moment, but the only thing I could get from the lead concept artist at Riot Games was that the bolts are made out of Demacian silver. When it comes to in-game stuff, Fiendhunter Bolts costs only 2650 gold, making it the cheapest AD carry item in the game. It's crafted with 1 Zeal and a Scout's Slingshot. Once spot, it gives 40% attack speed, 25% critical chance and 4% move speed. And considering the base stats of the item, it has in theory a gold efficiency of 77%. However, the item has 2 unique passives which make up for the loss of gold. The first passive is called Night Vigil, and it gives 30 ultimate ability haste. The second passive, Opening Barrage, grants your next 3 basic attacks after casting your ultimate 50% increased attack speed and guarantees they critically strike for 75% of your normal critical strike damage. If an attack would already critically strike, it instead deals a bonus 10% true damage. And you have to use the 3 empowered basic attacks in a time span of 8 seconds for the passive to work. If not, it expires and it goes on cooldown for 45 seconds. Ornn can upgrade the item into its Masterwork variant, giving it 33% extra attack speed for a total of 73%. It also has the same values across all game modes. When it comes to usage, there's obviously no data available yet, but it's a Zeal item, so I'd expect it to have somewhere in between 10 and 30% peak rate, with around 15 champions using it on a regular basis. But when should you even buy this item? Well, its main purpose is to reduce the cooldown of your ultimate and significantly improve it with some extra burst damage. It also gives attack speed and critical chance, making it the perfect fit for AD carries that heavily rely on their ultimate. And keep in mind that it's a Zeal item, meaning it doesn't offer any raw damage when bought, so it's best to get it at second item or later. To counter Fiendhunter Bolts, you can either build Frozen Heart to reduce their attack speed by 20%, or Rendwind's Omen to reduce their critical strike damage by 30%, or Thornmail to deal damage as they attack you. And if you're not a tank, you can always break their rhythm by stunning them with crowd control. The next AD carry item coming up in the next patch is the Hexoptics C44. Its main purpose is to reward good range spacing between you and the enemy with extra damage. The design and lore of the item are both connected. They are inspired by the optics used on Caitlyn's rifle in the last episode of Arcane, and with Jace being the creator of the rifle, the Hexoptics is either built or inspired by him. The in-game version looks a bit more complex than the one in the show, and it also has a Hextech gemstone on the side, which means that it's self-reliant and it can be attached to any weapon. Speaking of in-game stuff, the Hexoptics C44 costs 2800 gold and it's crafted with a pickaxe, a noon quiver and a long sword. Once spot, it gives 50 attack damage and 25% critical strike chance. When it comes to gold efficiency, it has a slightly negative one of 98%. And beside the main stats, it also comes with 2 unique passives. The first one is called Magnification, and what it does is it increases the damage dealt by up to 10% based on how far away the enemy is, the max damage being at 700 range. Ashe, for example, has a default range of 600, so she would need more to benefit from this passive. But luckily, that's why the second passive exists. It's called Arcane Aim, and it gives you an extra 100 attack range for 6 seconds whenever a champion that you damage within 3 seconds dies. The item can also be upgraded by Ornn, getting an extra 28 attack damage for a total of 78. It also has the same values across all game modes. When it comes to usage, there's no data available yet, but considering that it's a noon quiver item for long-range champions, I'd say it will have around 20% peak rate with around 15 champions using it on a regular basis. But when should you buy this item? Well, its main purpose is to enhance auto-attack damage the further away you are from the enemy, so before you buy it, make sure you're already playing a champion with long range to take advantage of the passive as much as possible. One important thing to keep in mind is that it only costs 2800 gold, so if you're ever behind and need a high damage item but can't afford Infinity Edge, C44 might work very well in that case. The extra damage and range from the passive can help you overturn the whole advantage towards you by popping off at the right time. Also, the distance of the passive is calculated when the missile hits the target, not when it fires. So if someone dashes away from the attack, you will deal more damage to them. And the best way to counter the Hexoptics C44 is to close the range gap between you and the attacker, as well as buying more resistance, armor and health. The last AD carry item coming up to this season is actually a returning one that was originally added in 2018, but it was never a popular option, so Riot ended up reworking it multiple times until 2024 when they decided to completely remove it from the game. And now, for some reason, Riot feels confident enough to put it back in the game, even if it's expected to have a low pick rate. Design-wise, it's just a metallic sword with some distinctive cloud shapes around the guard and the blade on a blue electrical background. As for its lore, the Stormrazor story is only found in Riot Forge's game Ruined King. There it's described as a blade containing the overwhelming power of a massive storm, crackling with electricity and allowing its user to channel the storm's presence against anyone crossing their path. It's also only equipable by Yasuo, hinting at being his sword, which makes sense given his wind-themed abilities. When it comes to gameplay, the Stormrazor costs 3200 gold and it's crafted with a BF sword, a cloak of agility and a scout's slingshot. Once spotted, gives 50 attack damage, 20% attack speed and 25% critical strike chance. When it comes to gold efficiency, it has a slightly positive one of 101%. Stormrazor has two passives. The first one is charging energized stacks by moving and attacking, and the second one is consuming those stacks once it reaches 100, giving your next attack 100 bonus magic damage and granting 45% move speed for 1.5 seconds. And it also can be upgraded by Ornn, giving it 14 extra attack damage and 16% attack speed. The energized stacks are twice as fast in Arena. And the last time Stormrazor was in the game, it had on average a pick rate of 2%, making it one of the least popular items in the game. And I don't expect it to be different this time, but is it even worth buying? Well, there are only two items in the game that combine attack damage, attack speed and critical strike chance, Stormrazor and Yuntal Wild Arrows. And while Stormrazor's movement speed from the passive can be fun and situationally useful, especially on Jhin, Yuntal is almost always the stronger choice. However, if you really want it, make sure to buy it as your first item, because its passive magic damage caps at 100, making it far less impactful in late game. And if you're on the other team, an easy way to counter Stormrazor is to wait for the empowered attack. Once used, the enemy AD carry is vulnerable, making it the perfect time to go all in and secure the kill. And that's all about the new AD carry items coming in patch 26.1. I hope you found this video useful, and if you want to learn more about the new items, click here.